Greetings, programs. Welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews, where size matters, and I do not have enough of it because today we'll be struggling to fit in frame the new Transmetal Legacy Megatron, or technically Transmetal 2, I guess. This is another figure like the Fallen, who I looked at recently, who really lives up to that leader class moniker. Probably more so even than the Fallen did, if I'm going to be honest. This guy is an absolutely enormous dragon mode. We're going to have to start here by showing off the fact that the wings are collapsible, because the only way I will be able to move him around here and show his size is if I do that. So you can see very long dragon mode. He can breathe fire. We're going to go ahead and pop the fire effect out to make him a little bit shorter for now. But, yeah, this is a real leader class figure, and I absolutely adore him. Funny enough, I do feel the opposite about him that I did both the Fallen and even my last video, Skullgrin. This is the figure that you get for the alt mode. The robot mode's good. We're going to take a look at it, but this dragon mode is so awesome. Go ahead and at least have one wing fanned out here so you can see it. He looks so good. Posability on him is insane. Most of the neck here is made up of ball joints, and then you have a standard just, hinge here at the bottom. So, lot of range there with how you handle things. Obviously, you can also rotate at the ball joints as well. So you've got a lot of range there. The mouth can open and close. Doesn't quite close all the way, but it closes enough. Take a quick look at this face. The face sculpt is so good on the dragon mode. Funny enough, you would expect a rotation here. I got things confused, yeah. He has a rotation there as well. It is ratcheted. I'm thinking of the joint farther in. Ignore me being stupid. Little dragon arms can rotate all the way until the wings get in the way. The wings do flap, so you can get the wings out of the way. Full rotation. Little bicep swivel in there. Single elbow joint, but because of how the arms are sculpted, you end up having... They don't quite go straight all the way, but they do curl in all the way. He actually has a wrist rotation, as well as you can rotate the claws in and out. So, shockingly high amount of posability on these little dragon arms. If I can stop ripping out his thigh there, ratcheted joint on the thigh is quite tight on mine, which is why I keep undoing his transformation. Also moves out, and then some, all the way to the wrong way. Thigh rotation. Got a knee joint there. You've got some other kind of joint here. You've got a soft ratchet for back and forth on the foot. Then the ankle can rotate very well. Ignore the fact that this is popping off. This is because I'm having to handle him in very weird ways to even get him in frame right now. The tail is kind of the same deal as the neck. It's a whole bunch of ball joints. You get some rotation, some tilt. No real use to the weird claw on the end of his tail, but it looks neat. Anyone who knows Transmetal 2 Megatron knows that this is actually his head right there. So like all Megatrons, his head is planted firmly up his own butt. But that does let you wag the tail a little bit there too. Yes, this... yes. this dragon mode has honestly just been... this is the mode I leave him in. I like the robot mode and stuff, but I have a lot of Megatrons with cool robot modes. This dragon alt mode like this dragon, this guy's worth getting just as a dragon figure. Like, there's not a lot of like really good, really articulated dragon figures. If you can work with the kind of, techno-organic thing going on with him, this is probably the best dragon figure you can go buy anywhere. So, I think I remembered all of his posability. He does have a lot. These wing sections are a little flexible, so make sure they don't cross over each other. You can also angle this piece a little bit. I don't know why. At least to me, it looks best when you just leave it out all the way, but you can move it and do things with it. That's another joint you have. I think I've covered everything. Yeah, 5mm port there in his mouth for doing the fire. Only other 5mm ports he really has are on the bottom of his feet. So I think we're good to go into robot mode here. So we'll go ahead and start by pulling the chest section away from him, revealing a second chest. Go ahead and unpeg these thigh sections. Then just go ahead and straighten out the legs. There is a stopping point right here that will help hold this section in for the robot mode. And obviously, if you want, even just have a dragon with, long, straight legs instead of doing the, extra joint there if you want. But let's go ahead and do that. Try to keep the wings out of the way a little bit here so I can come down here and start folding all of this up and out. There are like a lot of little stopping points on the hinges here, so you will feel them kind of just start gripping and stopping on their own as you're going through and transforming him. Go ahead and kind of flip that up. Bring these thigh sections in. They've got the tabs and slots they're using to hold on to this section here will actually now lock together. And there we go. So that part's actually very similar to the Kingdom Beast Wars Megatron. Appreciated. Go ahead and kind of pull out just a little bit on these little arm panels here to fold down the chest. You can see there's little tabs here on the insides that are pegging in right there. So just pull out just a little bit to get those to let go. Fold these sections down. Rotate this section to the side. Open this little gold panel up. Unpeg this section right here. Straighten up the fist. Unpeg the arm from right there in the shoulder. Go ahead and fold that panel all the way in like that. Fold these back up. And then go ahead and take these panels and fold them in. And while there's no good way to explain it, just start using all these different hinges here on the arms until eventually there's a little tab on the back of the middle claw that will slot in right there on the side of the chest where the outer faux chest pegs in. Or let me put it this way, it will try to peg in, at least this one on my copy. I think I need to shave down that peg just a little bit. It holds well enough. And like I've said, I do mostly leave him in the dragon mode, so it doesn't matter. But there we go. Those are pegged in about as good as they get. Go ahead and just fold this back up. Open the wings back up there. Bring this section up. Go ahead and... It's easier to show on the bottom here, but the head is actually on a little slider track here. You have to have it slid back for the robot mode. Go ahead and slide that forward. Or back for the dragon mode, forward for the robot mode. Then go ahead, you've got a little tab right there that will slot in right there. And then this section here will slot in right there to help hold everything together. You might have to reopen the chest to get that to go in correctly. It can take a serious bit of squeezy force to really get everything locked into place on this guy, but Once you do, go ahead, just kind of fold down the ponytail, put the arms in place, and there you have your Beast Wars Transmetal 2 Leader Class Megatron in his robot mode. And this is still a very, very good robot mode. Again, this is like not... This one tab on mine's a little too big. It doesn't stay tabbed in very well. That aside, this guy's good. This guy's really, really good. You can already see his waist swivel coming into play a little bit there. The wings, you can just kind of do whatever you want with them. Officially, you just leave them like pushed down and back, kind of like a cape. I guess that's when you'd fold those in or something. I don't know. The only kind of unsightly bit on him is this piece. And this piece will fake you out a little bit, because you can see this tab here and this slot there. You would think this tab's in, but no, it does not. Because if you actually bring this down far enough to tab in, you're going to pull this piece up and out, because this is just a little too low. So I find it really weird how they did all that, or I guess technically managed to not do that on that spot. Everything else, though, so good. Bring him in so you can see he's just got like this nasty, nasty maw of teeth. He does have painted eyes. However, if you can get enough light shining on the top here, you can see that little light piping crystal going on. Not only does this spot light up, but his eyes will light up too. They are actually light piped clear orange behind the paint, and the paint is just thin enough that you can turn his eyes orange with a really bright light from overhead. It looks awesome. Arms are ratcheted, have a full rotation on this side. The single jointed elbow, no, pardon me, that is a double jointed elbow. So yeah, full rotation on the elbow thanks to the double joint. Nothing really at the wrist except for this. I know I mentioned on a Starscream, the Armada Starscream recently, that I don't mind it usually on figures. Here I really feel like they could have engineered that slightly differently. You know, for this to not be so thin so that I could actually rotate his wrist there. Or at least find a way to put it back here maybe, or just middle of the arm. It feels like there were ways they could have given him a wrist rotation and they didn't. That's a little bit lame. Here you have that joint that I forgot about in the dragon mode for the shoulder still. And then just all the same dragon neck articulation that we had in the dragon mode. Kicks forward on a ratchet. Get the wing out of the way. Kicks back. Still does the splits and then some. Thigh rotation. Super deep knee bend. Still has, you know, again, this is the dragon leg, so it's the same articulation, but still worth showing in this mode for just how posable he is. And of course, you can either put the fire, which by the way, this is actually like a nice rigid blast effect. It's not one of those soft rubbery ones. This is like, you know, actually pretty good. You can either put it back in the dragon mode, in the dragon mouth, or he can actually just hold it, and he can have a big fire club, and he can, you know, bonk Waspinator on the head. I haven't seen enough Beast Wars to know if Waspinator was even still alive at this point in the story, but I still like to imagine him just giving Waspinator a bonk on the head with a big fire club. But, oh, and the head is on a hinge, single hinge for rotation, not a ball joint or anything. He can only look side to side and not very far because, you know, the wings and everything back here will get in the way, as well as the ridiculous ponytail he ends up with. So, oh, and I forgot. Ratcheted waist swivel. That part's always really nice. I can't believe I almost forgot that. But yeah, overall, I do definitely really like this robot mode. I can see, definitely people who grew up with Beast Wars probably get really nostalgic over this design. Obviously, for me, it's all about the dragon mode. And this figure does the dragon mode so well. I can give him an absolute full recommendation if your intent is to get him, stick him in dragon mode, and never transform him again. You might glue, the hips into place so he can't, not be a dragon. You know what? That would still make this guy worth picking up. Absolute massive recommendation. Probably as big a recommendation as I actually gave The Fallen and Armada Starscream. Something about these recent figures are just fantastic. And at least to me, this guy is another one. Just absolute pile of win from Hasbro. So, my gushing aside, thank you guys for watching. And as always, I will see you next time.